I see this all the time at the gym. Someone bench pressing, struggling with the weight to finally push through it and rack the weight. However, what most might not pick up on is that they got up after that set, then touched their lower back with a grimace on their face, right where their weightlifting belt is wrapped around. So today, I want to tell you the #1 mistake people make while wearing weightlifting belts. The first thing we're gonna do is break down the core's anatomy and physiology. Then we'll go over 3 reasons why someone might wear a weightlifting belt, discuss why most people have back pain while wearing weightlifting belts, and finally come to understand a few simple steps that will resolve that issue. In order to understand how important the core is while weightlifting, we must go over the muscles and their functions. The core is made up of as many as 35 groups of muscles, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to go over the most important and obvious ones. Rectus abdominis is your 6-pack, and what some genetically mutated individuals might have, an 8-pack. They help you bend forward. External obliques can be found on the side of the 6-pack, which helps you twist and bend your body to the side. Internal obliques are hidden underneath and are arguably more important than the first two. They do the same twisting and bending job, but also keeps your belly tight, like you're about to brace for a punch. Transverse abdominis is the deepest and wraps around like a belt, keeping your spine safe and helps you stand straight. This is like a weightlifting belt, but with all muscle. Rectus spinae runs up your back and helps you stand. And finally, the diaphragm sits right below your lungs and is the main muscle that helps you breathe. However, I see a lot of people not using the diaphragm to its full potential, especially while weightlifting. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit later. So you can see how complicated the core is and how many things go into it just to keep your body upright. So let's talk about why people might supplement their abs and back by using a belt. The first thing that comes to my mind is bodybuilding. These people work out to reach a certain physique. Their training method focuses mostly on hypertrophy work, which is slow tempo and high rep scheme, like 3 sets by 12 reps. It gets more complicated than that. They focus on the burn of the muscle. They try to stay there for as long as they can. I see them wear belts throughout their entire workout session sometimes, and that's for good reason. People who bodybuild sometimes work out 2 times a day, which does not give them enough rest time between workouts. Wearing a belt allows a lifter to focus more on the lift and less on their already fatigued and weak core from the previous workout. This can be very useful throughout their lifts if, and that's a big if, they're using the belt correctly. Now, powerlifting is nearly the opposite than bodybuilding, and they use the belt much differently. Powerlifters' main goal is to lift as much weight as possible. They do not care about aesthetic looks and more so chasing that next big lift. These lifters typically focus around the 5 rep margin, up to 8 and down to 3 reps if they need to mix it up and shock their muscles. Their main focus lifts would be the deadlift, bench, squat, and if they're Olympic lifting, clean and jerk, or snatching. These lifters use their belt in a rep by rep basis. Only way powerlifters can get very strong with their lifts with their belt is to have a very functional core. The belt is not a replacement, it is an aid. The final obvious reason people may wear a belt is for back pain. And I can pinpoint these people from across the room because most likely they have a lordotic back wearing the belt, which is an indicator of a weak core. This is likewise with the waist trainers trying to get the perfect tum-tum. Instead, working out your core to get that perfect tummy is a lot healthier and much longer lasting. See how my abs are stretched out and my butt is popping out? You need to be able to brace your core and push your hips through. Most of the time, these lifters are wearing their belt throughout the entire workout. For the most part, these lifters are completely replacing the core with a belt, and that is a no-no. Here are a few tips to get a stronger and more stable core. And even y'all who don't have back pain should try these out. First, we have our dead bugs. Lay flat on the ground, knees bent, and pick up 1 knee at a time while keeping your lower back flat to the ground. You want to squeeze your core and your belly button inwards towards your spine. Your goal is to be able to breathe easily through your diaphragm before you progress, while keeping that back flat. What I like to do is place a band underneath my client's back and pull it to make sure their back is strongly flat. The next progression is putting both legs in the air with a 90-degree angle and tapping the floor with 1 foot at a time. After you get that, you can start kicking your feet out 1 at a time. The higher the kick, the easier it will be. Work your way all the way to the ground. Finally, you can kick both legs out at a time, all while keeping your lower back flat to the ground. Don't cheat. These progressions can take weeks, if not months. The goal is to be able to stabilize your core while the rest of your body is moving. Similar to a squat, a deadlift, and a bench, you want the core stable. Let's talk about diaphragm breathing. It is important. Look into a mirror or yourself if you can. Take a deep breath. Did your shoulder and chest raise immediately? That is chest breathing. It's very common with people who have stressful or sedentary lives. I can also safely assume some of y'all might have neck pain. Not a big deal, it's easy to fix. Lay on the ground on your stomach. Put one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach. Now, breathe. Notice that your stomach will start to inflate first. Do this for 20 breaths for 3 sets. Then try to replicate it while standing up. If you can't, get back on the ground and train for the next few weeks. Using your diaphragm to brace your core is essential while using a weightlifting belt, especially when you're lifting heavy weights. The number one mistake is a 2-for-1. People do not know how to brace their core properly during heavy lifts, and people completely replace their core with a belt, which only leads to more problems down the line, like lower back pain and sciatica. This is Chris. Always appreciate and respect one another. I'll see you next time.